Welcome back to Area DMG. I'm your host, Hope Wesley, the Mile High Mouth, and for today's episode of Suki Nihon, we are looking at Ace Attorney, Episode 5 of Season 1, hopefully. Ace Attorney, Turnabout Samurai, First Trial. Now, the opening for this particular... Oh, before we go in, these are review and discussion points, so there are, of course, spoilers. And if you've played this already, on the 3DS, in the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney collection, or on the Wii, or on your cell phone, or on the Nintendo DS, or on the Game Boy Advance, or on an Android system, or on Steam, or whatever, then you already know how this story goes. Anywho, this is Turnabout Samurai, First Trial. It's episode 5 of Ace Attorney. We're watching it on Crunchyroll.com. So, the opening of this episode is kind of like, okay, it's like a clip from the Steel Samurai anime, right? Because in the show, the Steel Samurai is the show within a show, or rather the show within a game. Maya watches it, even though she's too old for it, because it's technically aimed at like 10-year-olds. Because it's kind of a Sentai film thing, you know. Sentai stuff being like Power Rangers type stuff, or it's like a cross between Lone Wolf and Cub and Power Rangers or Kamen Rider. So anyways, it starts with that animation sequence. There's even like someone in the animation sequence there that looks like something you'd see from like a Go Nagai type show. And I was just like seriously, they nailed it. I would totally watch a Steel Samurai show. The animation there was purposefully rough, and it works. Whereas the rest of the show, the animation is kind of rough because they're speeding it out, a lot of it's same day, and all this stuff, and they'll fix it up on the Blu-ray. Anywho, it starts with a lot of new information, well, old information presented in a new way. One thing I like about this show is when it's just the investigation phases. The courtroom battle sections of this are more akin to the game, and in that regard, they can sometimes be a little bit boring. Because if you've played the game, you know where they're going, and sometimes there's sometimes where it's just like you're watching a walkthrough. And about half of this episode is the courtroom sequence. The other half, it's all the investigation sequence. We're introduced to new characters, like for example the guy that plays the Steel Samurai. There's some really great chemistry between Phoenix Wright and Maya Fey in here that's really great. Lots of the exaggerated reactions are here, especially in the courtroom. It's like they're getting better at that. They introduced the character of Windy Old Bag. From the people who play the game know who she is. She's in all 3 of the first trilogy of games, and she's pretty funny and obnoxious at the same time, which works. Overall, it was a pretty good episode. I really liked a lot of the investigation sequence of this because it worked. It was all different from how it's presented in the game. And that's what makes the difference between this. This needs to be its own thing, even though it's based on the same game, like on the same stuff from the game. It needs to be its own thing. There was a little part in the trial section where they made reference to a character that wasn't introduced in the investigation sequence. Instead, they did a little montage in the investigation sequence, and you can see that character there. But they didn't name that character, and that character didn't talk. So I'm like, well, what are you doing? Don't do that. Okay? Other than that, I think this is the first time that we've heard that other prosecutor, Von Karma, talk, and that's fantastic. I can't wait to see him in what will most likely be. I'm guessing this first season will only have 11 episodes, right? So if this particular trial goes on for 3 episodes, they'll have 4 episodes for the final trial of the first game. And then maybe they could do the extra trial, Rise from the Ashes, that was added in the DS games for an OVA for the release of it on Blu-ray. Who knows? They might be able to do that. Overall, this episode was pretty great. It presented a lot more new information, showed a lot more of the characters interacting with each other, which is what I like. And overall, I thought it was a pretty good episode. I'm going to declare this one to be not guilty. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the rest of this series. Hopefully it'll be popular enough to get a second season. What do you think of the series so far? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. Check this out on Crunchyroll if you haven't already. It's crunchyroll.com. I found out this weekend at an anime convention that when you watch stuff on Crunchyroll, Hulu, or Netflix, the people who animated it or the people who did the dub for it, everyone gets paid. Every time it's streamed, they keep that information and they pay out royalties dependent on that information. So, I suggest, hey, if there's a show that you like, put it on in the background while you're doing other stuff. Put it on when you leave the house to keep your cat company. Yeah, do this so that the people you like are supported, so that they make their money, which is good. The more people watch this show, the more it makes money, the more likely we are to get a second season and maybe a third season. I would love to see them go through the entirety of the first 3 games. I think I've said this multiple times, but I want to get to Godot and Dahlia because Dahlia is the best character. Pearl's the best sister, but Dahlia is the best character, if you know what I mean. If you finish the 3 games, I'm not going to spoil what that is. Go play the Phoenix Wright games on the Nintendo 3DS right now in one set, and go check those out. They're really good. Really, really good. And I hope that more people watch this show and decide, hey, I like those too. So do you like these? Hit that like button. Hit that comment button. Let me know about this stuff, about the games, about the show, what you like, what you don't like about it. And hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. That'd be good of you. And until the next video comes out, you are now caught up.